The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. At that time, Jesus withdrew to the region of Tyre and Sidon. And behold, a Canaanite woman of that district came and called out, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. My daughter is tormented by a demon." But he did not say a word in answer to her. His disciples came and asked him, "Send her away, for she keeps calling out after us." He said in reply, "I was sent only to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." But the woman came and did him homage, saying, "Lord, help me." He said in reply, "It is not right to take the food of the children and throw it to the dogs." She said, "Please, Lord, for even the dogs eat the scraps that fall from the table of their masters." Then Jesus said to her in reply, "O woman, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish." And the daughter was healed from that hour. The Gospel of the Lord. In the Gospels, we find on several occasions Jesus speaking with people not belonging to the people of Israel. One of them is the woman of this Gospel. There is a conversation with a centurion, a Roman soldier. Other moments in which Jesus tests the faith of those people, or rather, somehow uses those occasions to ask us, do you have this faith? Because this is the question for us today, very clear. Do we have the faith of this woman, the woman in this gospel? In the conversation with another person I just mentioned, the centurion, he would say to his disciples, "Do you see the faith of this man who is not an Israelite and yet came to me to ask for the healing of his servant? I have not found such a faith in anybody." Which I believe Jesus' disciples didn't take it that lightly. It's like me, for example, coming here and someone from, I don't know, an atheist, someone who never goes to church comes in, and I tell you, that person has way more faith than all of you combined. How would you take that? You would start throwing stones at me, calling the pastor, calling the archbishop, right? Because sounds what Jesus is doing here. Even putting the disciples to the test. Let's go to a pagan country. Jesus didn't have to do that. There were beautiful places around in Israel. And yet he goes, he kind of retires, stays away from the big crowds for a time. He's in this region of Tyre and Sidon, which was a pagan territory. Pagan means those people didn't believe in God, in the God of Jesus, the God of the Old Testament. No God. They had their own divinities, perhaps, their own cults, or nothing. And in that moment, a woman from that area comes to the Lord and says, "Have pity on me, Lord, Son of David. Wow. She is calling him Lord. She is calling him Son of David. The Messiah was supposed to come from the descendants of David. And so was Jesus, a descendant of King David from the Old Testament, right? And so she immediately makes a profession of faith in front of everybody. He's telling everybody, including Jesus' disciples, this man is the Messiah. And already that would have upset the disciples. In fact, immediately after, they go to Jesus and say, hey, send this woman away. Huh? She's really annoying. She's telling us we don't believe in you. She's telling us we are not that good. And Jesus continues in that conversation. He says, well, here I have the best chance for me to give a word to my disciples first and to the rest, all the generations to come, including us, a word for us. This woman says to Jesus, it's true, I am a pagan. It's true, I am not worthy. It's true, I come from nowhere. And yet, if you give me just a little bit of your grace, a little bit of your spirit, a scrap, like something that a dog would eat falling from the dining table of its owner. If you give me just a little bit like that, everything will be fine. My daughter will be healed. I'll receiving life. And Jesus says, great is your faith. Let it be done for you as you wish. Do we have this faith, brothers and sisters? Seriously. Do we have such a faith that we come here to the Lord and say, it is true, I am not worthy. You remember the story of the prodigal son? This young man who left his household, left his father, and then he dissipated all the money of the father in living in debauchery. And then finally he came to his senses. He went to the father and said, it's true, I'm not worthy of anything. Treat me like the last one now. And the father, of course, received him and didn't treat him as like a last one. Rather, like he elevated like the first one. He had the banquet. He put the best vestments on him, a ring on his finger. To come here and say, it is true. If God really gave me his graces, gave me his forgiveness, gave me his mercy, and when I say me, I mean me, this man who is talking to you, right? Because I am good, if that were the case, well, I wouldn't even need to come here. I am here a sinner. I am here in need of conversion every day. I am here with all my doubts many times. I'm here because I am nothing. And yet Jesus gives me and you and all everything, in spite of our doubts, in spite of our limitations, in spite of our rebelliousness many times, in spite of the sins we may have in our hearts, maybe some judgments, maybe some resentments towards God himself because things are not going right, because our daughter is sick like this woman's. And well, if we knew this, all our life would be way easier. But perhaps we may come here thinking, well, I deserve God's grace because I'm good. maybe the disciples of Jesus had that attitude, and they had to learn. They will learn. Peter will learn that all the graces he receives, he would receive, would be because of the grace of Christ, in spite of his betrayals, of his stupidity, of his limitations. And he will accept that. Other people, even in the Gospels, in the Scriptures, we could think of Judas, for example. Other people would not accept that, would not accept that the grace of God comes to us in spite of our sins, of our mistakes, or rather, because of our sins, because of our mistakes. And if I don't accept that, I have no faith. I have no faith. Great is the faith of those who acknowledge who they are, who acknowledge who Jesus is as Lord, and who are able, therefore, to receive this immense grace, the love of God for the sinner, for all of us, who may be unworthy and yet are made worthy by Christ, to the point of being able to receive him as Lord and become like him, therefore be put to the first place, be treated as lords and kings and queens ourselves, the immense grace of God. Well, I invite you, I invite myself, I invite all to receive this grace today, to receive the Lord, to be open to all the graces he has bestowed on us with a humble heart, and that we may every day call him, as this woman does, Lord, Son of David. Come to him and say, have pity on me. I am a sinner, but I know that you saved me, you love me, you have mercy on me. And I invite you to stand as we now offer prayers and intentions to God, the Almighty.